All right. Well, since we're on the racist train.
Okay.
Apparently, Joe Rogan did a segment. Mm-hmm. Same thing. The everything is racist mentality.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Everything's racist.
Yeah.
So, is this something we need to play and analyze as we go along?
We can play and pick it apart. One of our fans sent it to us.
Okay.
And he said that it sounds exactly like what you and I have been saying for 2 fucking years.
Okay. Well, maybe Joe listens to us because we're so cutting edge.
Yeah, that's what it is.
All right. This is the Joe Rogan. Full credit to Joe Rogan, his Joe Rogan podcast.
Yeah, Joe Rogan Experience.
Yeah. This comes from Joe Rogan Experience number 1206. Mm-hmm. So we'll kind of analyze what Joe has to say here.
All right.
Because this is one subject that makes me outraged and offended.
That's right.
So let's see what Joe has to say about this.
All right.
Here we go.
They have, racism bias training. And they have these people sit down and they talk to you about, like, this is what you do, if a person of color walks in. This is it's everybody's like, shit, I don't want to be racist. But I don't think it works, man. And I don't think it's not the way. Look, racism sucks. And the way to stop racism is be a good person.
Yeah.
Like, the more good people we have, they will inspire more good people. We will all realize that racism is fucking stupid, and we should treat people as individuals always, whether it's by gender, by sexual preferences, origin of your ancestors. I don't care. I care in terms of, like, sexual preference. I care in terms of, like, whether I think you're attractive or not. I care in terms of, like, whether I decide, there's some people that want to hang out with really loud people. There's some people that want to hang out with people that are, like, more demure, or some people that are more introspective. Everybody likes different shit.
Yeah.
You're allowed to like different shit.
No, you're not.
Not in today's world.
Everybody's got to be the same.
Yeah.
And if you like something different, then you're racist.
So they say.
Yeah, but see, I disagree in one area here.
Mm-hmm.
This whole sexual preference thing has kind of gone off the rails too, because obviously we've talked about this.
Sure.
Why do we need to know what someone's sexual proclivity is?
I don't need to.
The problem I have with any of this, if you're gay or if you're transgender, if you're, whatever your proclivity is,
right?
Why do I need to know that? Why do you got to wear that on your sleeve and have to display that?
Yeah.
Why do I got to know that?
Yeah. Why do I got to know where you put your junk?
Yeah. So in my opinion, and I've experienced this all the way back to the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you have to rub or try to flaunt your sexual preferences in my face?
Because it's a hot button that gets votes.
Of course, but that's the whole thing. It's just like if you're a gay person, if that's what you do and that's your lifestyle, whatever the case may be, why do you have to make it that I need to know that about you?
Right.
Why can't I just know you as Joe the plumber or whatever your thing is? Hey, that's a guy I work with. Why do I need to know, oh, by the way, that guy sucks cock and he's very swishy?
And what would happen if you had your cable guy come in and said, hey, man, how you doing? By the way, do you suck dick? I mean, what would happen? You'd probably get punched in the fucking face,
of course.
Right? Or at a minimum, they'd fucking turn around and be like, you know what, fuck you, and they'd leave, right?
Of course.
But yet, in the greater sense, we're supposed to give credence or whatever to that. How about relationship type shit should really just be a fucking don't ask, don't tell.
Yeah, that's your business. I don't care. Why do you got to tell me about it or even display it or try to demonstrate it?
But see, I'm gonna disagree with you slightly. I don't care if you display it. Just don't ask me to fucking pretend to respect it.
Right.
I don't have to pretend to respect the fact that you're sucking a guy's cock. I'm never going to do that. If you're a guy, if you have a dick and you're sucking another dick, I don't have respect for that. I'm never going to. Doesn't mean I think you're a bad person. Means that I certainly don't want to fucking live in your footsteps.
Well, but again, being, flamboyant and almost trying to flaunt it in front of you.
I'm okay with that. I personally
I'm not.
am okay.
I'm not. It's just like, why do you feel the need that I need to know this about you?
Well, you don't. But if that's how they're wired, like Rogan was saying here, what about somebody that's just overly loud? You don't have to like them, but you really don't go and say, "Hey, dude, shut the fuck up." It's the same basic principle.
Yeah, I get that. But it seems like some people, not all, but some people seem to go out of their way to try to, force it on you or make you accept it, and it's just like, why do you need to do that? Because
they don't need to. But
it's
again,
just like if you're a guy who works on my car or you're a mechanic, why do I need to know that about you?
Yeah, I really could give a fuck. I don't care if you're sucking fucking horse cock or fucking fat chicks.
Just fix my car.
Or fucking supermodels or whatever. Put the fucking spark plug in the fucking gap and fucking tighten it in. That's what I want. You fucks.
Yeah.
Who cares? I'm not going to give you more rights or more respect because you fucking took a 10-incher in the asshole.
Exactly.
Really don't care.
I agree.
But you're not allowed to discriminate against someone and keep that.
See, there's the word. You're not allowed.
Yeah.
Who makes those rules? You're not allowed.
Yeah, well, you know who does? The majority.
Who?
The majority that is fucking not standing up and saying fuck you when people complain about it.
But who makes the rule of you're allowed or you're not allowed?
Social media.
I guess.
Last I looked, there's no rule about what you have to believe or think.
Exactly. I agree with that.
Them from occupation or keep them from a place to live. And if we all thought that way and just treated people on the merits of their own individual personality and character, we'd have a way better world. I think we could all agree to that. As soon as you get into these...
Yeah, I would agree with that.
That's what I've been saying.
Hey, I work on cars. I tune engines. Okay, I'll bring my car over. Oh, by the way, me and my boyfriend, we were like, it's like, why do I need to know this?
Yeah.
This isn't in the realm of why I brought my car here. I heard that you're a good mechanic. I don't need to know about your proclivities.
Yeah, I really don't care what you do with another man's piston. Fucking fix the pistons in my fucking Nissan.
Exactly.
It's the only piston I care about you manipulating.
Exactly.
Groups of all white people or all Asians or all like, fucking come on, man. That's too small. That's such a gross generalization. It's too small of a common denominator. It's too weird. What you are, like how much of what you are is where the fuck you're from and shit you can't control, like how much melanin you have in your skin. That's ridiculous. What you are is all the things you've experienced and all the life you've lived and all the lessons you've learned and where you are at this moment. You know, and if I like you at 30, I might not have liked you when you were 18. You might have been fucking annoying. But I meet you when you're 30 and I'm like, hey, you're cool. You know, and everything's great.
Yeah.
And that should be okay too. It's not like we have to distinguish between people just being not interested in talking to any one individual and what is wrong with gross generalizations and then tribal ideas of like sticking to only people of European ethnicity and these are the good folks of European descent. Like, you're fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I would say that people who literally believe that type of mindset are way in the minority.
You think?
Yeah, I do. Because I've lived 54 years and I can honestly say that maybe in the 54 years that I've been around, I've run into maybe 2, maybe 3 people like that in my lifetime that were just like, white is right and white is the only good race. And but overall, I don't think people care or put that much thought into it.
No. Yeah, I agree with you there. I mean, yeah. Most people don't. I mean, yeah. Do you hear some racial jokes? Sometimes, sure you do. Just like you hear fucking jokes about chicks and their fucking pussies, and you hear jokes about fucking fat guys and fat chicks and fucking anorexics and retards and everything else. So, for God's sakes, it's everything is there to be fucking goofed on. That's part of how we cope. That's how we don't have stress, is by fucking coping on the fucking somebody else or somebody, you know what I mean? Goofing on somebody
I
else.
think when I was growing up, especially in maybe the 60s, late 60s into the 70s, maybe even into the 80s, the most popular jokes out there were the Polak jokes.
Yeah.
And I haven't really heard a Polak joke in 30 years.
Yeah, since Archie Bunker went off the
Well,
air.
I don't even know if that was the driver, but my point is that when I was a kid, how many Polaks does it take to screw in a light bulb?
Yeah.
How many Polaks does it take? Blah 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 blah.
Right.
I think the last time I actually heard a Polak joke was like 1980.
And what I mean, think about it in the entire scope of your life. Did you hear more Polak jokes or more black jokes?
Boy,
I gotta say Polak.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna go with that too.
Yeah. I don't really, in my lifetime, I don't ever really remember this. I mean, I remember hearing, you would hear the oddball joke or whatever here and there, but you would hear it about every ethnicity, including white people.
Well, I'd hear all kinds of jokes when it came to ethnicity, like even Italians. It's talking about the new Italian tire. They go through rain, they go through snow, but when they go flat, they go wop wop wop. You know what I mean? I mean, there was a joke out there for everyone.
Of course.
It wasn't specifically targeted on, any racist or ethnicity or anything. It was just, it was just a joke. It was just generalizations, just like Joe Rogan is saying here.
Yeah.
And then you heard it and you went, ah, ha, ha, that's pretty funny. And it matches the stereotype and I get it. And then you went about your business, but you didn't go see a Polak and go, ah, ha, ha, I heard a joke about you, and you're dumb.
Yeah. Yeah, you never hear that.
Nobody ever said that.
Of course not.
Dumb. All right, here we go.
Civilization's been down that road, stupid. You can't do that shit again. And you can't do it for Asians either. You can't do it for black people. You can't do it for anything. You can't say everybody's great in this group because it's nonsense.
It's so simplistic.
It's not just simplistic. It's dangerous. And it also makes people scared to say anything about it. Like, I don't want you thinking that I hate
the thing
fill in the blank.
The thing I like about not censoring hate speech is if you let hate...
All right. See, that's the other term. I hate, and I just used hate to describe hate, but hate speech.
Yeah.
Joking, making a joke or a racial joke, hate speech, speech. It's like, no, I'm not telling the Polak joke because I hate the Polacks.
Right.
I'm telling the Polak joke because it's actually kind of funny.
Yeah. Dude, as much as we rail and bitch about this kind of stuff, that guy that you were that was talking right there, his name is Mike Ward.
Okay.
He's a comic, a Canadian comic, and he does a show on Kumia's network on Compound.
Okay.
Called Drink Minimum. But this guy, for everything that you think might be bad about our freedom of speech being eroded, you can't believe what goes on with this guy in Canada.
Oh, I can believe it because Canada is a very lib country.
This guy told a joke that was for a TV show that got cut out of his TV show, but it was still on his DVD or something like that. And it was about some kid. There was some kid that, had some kind of some disease or some shit. And he became like a famous singer or something in Canada. And he made a joke about, he's surprised the kid lived. It was kind of the joke, and I listened to the joke and it wasn't that funny and it wasn't really super offensive. But the basis of the joke was it's hard to believe this kid got famous even though he's not going to live long. That was kind of the joke. He got fined by the government $82,000.
How?
Because they said that was the amount of pain that he caused the family of this kid.
So is the government going to turn that $82,000 over to that family?
I don't know, but he's been in court for 8 years fighting it.
Ridiculous.
8 years fight, but that's so as much as we hate what's going on here, at least we're not to that level yet. But I mean, but you're right. If we start letting speech be labeled as such, then you give control and consequence to it. And it's ridiculous. I mean, and I'll be honest, I do think that there is a semblance of stuff that should be considered hate speech. But I think it's very, very small, and it should be labeled to not necessarily saying something, but inciting something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, if you're a really good speaker, I don't know, a David Koresh type that can convince people, and you're saying, arm up and we're going to go Saturday and shoot up the town square or something like that. You know, if you're that kind of person, then yeah. Okay, that I think should and could be classified as a hate speech, because it's not a general thought. It's a incitement to do something that's illegal. You know, same as almost in the same vein as like a RICO case with the government, where just, you know, you may not be the one pulling the trigger, but because you're forming the criminal operation, then you're part of it, that type of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that the quote unquote hate speech should be limited very tightly to that and that alone.
Yeah.
You know, not calling somebody a name or a word or a phrase
making a joke that's ethnically, tinged.
Yeah. Or hurting somebody's feelings. You're not entitled. There's nowhere in our Constitution that says that we have to be nice. There's nowhere that says that. I mean, in a perfect world, you would love it if everybody was nice. You would love it if everybody got along. But in the real world, that's not the case. In the real world, some of us don't want to get along. And I'm not saying I'm one of them. I'm just saying that there are people that just don't want to get along.
Yeah, it exists.
Yeah, and you know what? If those people exist, instead of trying to force them to fucking comply, where they're never going to do it, and they're gonna rail even harder against you, go the other direction. Just ignore them, the way we've done it for years and years and years, and we never had these huge uprisings of anything. Right? We never had these uprisings.
Yeah, take away their power.
Yeah. Yeah, once they're shunned and ignored, they either fucking comply on their own or they fucking become hermits.
Or they just go away.
Yeah, they just disappear. They move on.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wants to hear that shit.
Yep. Hail and kill caller, you're on the air.
Hey, how you guys doing?
We're doing. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm just really offended that you guys didn't issue me a trigger warning before the content, you know, because it's very important.
Are you offended? Are you outraged?
I am outraged that you guys didn't issue a trigger warning, because that's very important with the strong, independent young millennials that you guys, this is how we prove our strong and independence, is that you guys issue a trigger warning anytime you say anything of any context.
Right.
But anyway, I just wanted to, first off, you guys are freaking awesome. I just discovered you guys, sadly, you guys have been on the air forever in the podcast thing,
Yeah, we
forever.
were one of the first, actually, so, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge metalhead. I'm 30 years old. I'm 55 years old in a 30-year-old's body. It's, that's what I identify as. No, it's just, I fucking love you guys. You're fucking awesome, and I love the fact that you guys trash all this PC garbage, because, I've been in college for, 5 years, and I hear this safe space, white male, evil. You just go on it. But anyway, my main point is, when you guys have been so emphatic about this, especially Chris, when you said about do not apologize, and Anthony Cumia is a perfect example of do not apologize, and what is he doing now? He's thriving. When everyone apologizes, you suck. Mm-hmm. Anthony Cumia is killing it. Thank you guys very much. You guys are awesome. Helen Kill, I don't know the terminology because I just started, so fuck you guys. Kill yourself. You're awesome.
Before you go,
hold on, dude.
Before you go, where are you from? Where are you from?
Oh, I'm from liberal hell, Antifa Haven, Portland, Oregon.
Portland, Oregon, and you listen to us on the podcast, and obviously you're listening live tonight.
Yes, of course. I've been like Harvey Weinstein stalking you guys for a couple months here, trying to figure out when you guys are live. You know, because I'm a fucking moron when it comes to technology. I stink when it comes to technology. That's why I say I'm 65 years old or 55 in a 30-year-old's body, because I don't know how this technology thing works.
Right.
Like, it took me literally months to figure out the fact that you guys were on at Saturday. I literally found out, like, 2 days ago that you guys were live Saturday nights.
Nice.
And I'm not even joking.
Cool. And what do? You don't have to be real specific, but what do you do?
Well, what I identify... Well, okay, you got to be very specific, because it insults my gender pronouns. And now what I do is I do janitorial and custodial, and I work at I just basically clean Airbnbs and commercial jobs and stuff like that at nights and evenings and stuff.
Well, you're just a hands-on, hard-working guy.
Well, that's what I identify as, but tomorrow that might change.
What is your degree in?
Oh. Well, my degree is in what you guys do, journalism and radio broadcasting. I'm basically I am a huge metal fan, heavy metal fan, and I don't drink, of course, as you can tell by the slur of my words. But yeah, I love heavy metal, and I love talking about trashing all this PC garbage and so on and so forth. And you know, you literally guys are like the haven that I've been looking for, like heavy metal. Old school heavy metal especially, and trashing feminism and all this stuff, and not apologizing for making a joke I think it was both of you guys. You know, like I said, I literally just got on live, listening to you guys live today, a few minutes before you guys put me on live. So thank you guys for the call. Also, you guys mentioned the Canadian guy that was on Joe Rogan's podcast, Bill. But he got fined $80,000 something for, you know, whatever it was, but he had to pay, I think, $42,000.
Well,
he got fined for that.
They offered him a settlement. He still hasn't paid it. He's fighting him in
Good.
court still.
Good. Yeah, and again, Chris, and you guys, do not apologize, do not fight, do not submit to it, because again, I mean, this could go into Anthony Cumia, which was on, of course, Opie and Anthony, one that you guys love and then admire, just like me. And then this, like you said before on all your podcasts that I've downloaded before in the past few months, is like, yes, eventually, it goes to the big echelon guys like Joe Rogan and Anthony and Howard Stern, and, you know, you get the drift. And then it trickles down to a comedian from Canada or you guys. Like, I swear to God, you guys are totally right. Chris or whoever was saying it, Neely, I don't know who it is. It's going to go to you guys to where you guys are going to be, like, supporting rape and all that crap. You guys are 100% dead on. I see this in college. It's true. Duke, lacrosse team, I mean, come on.
Yeah, they were just out getting some puss, and they made a bigger deal than it was.
No. They were evil white heterosexual males, and that's what they, you know, because, you know, us heterosexual white males, we're the only ones that do that.
Well, we're the scourge of the earth.
But yeah, I appreciate you guys letting me babble on here like a lunatic here. I fucking love it, man. You guys are fucking awesome. But Hell and Kill and all that shit, like I said, I don't know what the whole fucking lingo is. I'm still learning here. But metal up your ass and whatever great metal lingo you like. And you guys are fucking awesome. Keep doing your thing. And fuck political correctness and fuck feminism. And I appreciate comedy. And if you offend me, well, that means I need to fucking appreciate the fact that you said something and I said a joke that I don't like. And I need to man up and just accept the fact that you said something that wasn't funny to me. And that's okay. So fuck you guys, and you're awesome, and have fun.
Fuck you guys.
Fuck you guys, and you're awesome.
Yeah. Hail and kill and metal up your ass and all the other shit that goes along with it.
All right, listen closely there, sir, since I didn't catch your name. Hail and kill, fuck you, pal, and hand job.
That's it.
That's how it goes.
All right. Let's get
And
back.
if you want, you can end with "and fuck there."
Yeah, and fuck there.
That's an acceptable fourth one.
Right. All right. Let's get back to Joe.
Okay.
Here we go.
Hateful people say their hateful things. You know where the dangerous people are.
Yeah.
So if you're censoring, like, you can't use this word, you can't say this, you can't say that, you don't know who the fucking weirdos are that hate black people, that hate gay people, that hate the trans, because everyone's acting exactly the same, like everything's cool. And then when they're with their friends or whoever, the people that think like them, then they're spewing all their fucking hate and shit and garbage.
Well, whenever people can't express themselves freely, then there's going to be some sort of suppression. And if there's some sort of suppression, there's a resentment of that suppression, and then there's just like this anxiety and this tension. You know, it's like what it's essentially what we're saying is when you think about people in business meetings, how they're forced to communicate, how they're forced to dress, how they're forced to communicate. They go into this very professional building. All the women are dressed professional. All the men are dressed professional. They all get together in these conference tables, and everyone is agreeing, even though these are sexual beings who maybe like cocaine, you know, and they've been to fucking, you know, they've been to music festivals, and they've maybe been to Burning Man, but they're contained. They're contained in this room, and they're talking about statistics, they're talking about probabilities, and then someone brings up diversity. Yes, diversity, all very important. And everyone is behaving in this super weird world where you can't move outside the box even remotely. If you move outside the box even a little, if you say, you know about the guy from Netflix that got fired because he used the N-word in a descriptive, he was talking about Tom Segura's special, where Tom Segura was talking about changes in language. Right. He was talking about some words you can't say anymore. And he says, like, you can't say retarded. He says this. Just because he said that, people were getting angry at him and protesting, and groups were trying to boycott Netflix.
I remember that.
Right. So this guy, I don't remember his name, but he was one of the big wigs at Netflix, and he said, he was like, it's like saying the word nigger to an African-American person. That's what it's like to say retarded to a family where someone has someone who's Down syndrome.
So he was defending.
He was talking about how offensive that word is to people. So it's like, this is the issue that we're dealing with. So he's just talking about it in a very matter-of-fact way. They report him for saying the word, and he gets fired.
Yeah, he said the word, man.
The word, man.
He said it, and I'm complaining, and I'm going to report him.
That's right.
And what do you get out of that? Because I feel morally superior to you now.
That's right.
I did my job here.
Right.
And I'm going to get a crown. I'm going to get a star in my crown in heaven for doing this.
I white knighted my ass right in there.
Exactly.
And apparently he did this twice. That's what I read.
In the same kind of context?
Yes, the same exact context. So he's repeating this thought. He's basically having they're doing an intellectual exercise. Like, is it the same to you? And he's saying it around African American people. But in saying it around African American people, just the fact that he said the word and uttered it, like
the word.
Yeah, the word.
The word.
Yeah. How dare he say that?
That's where we've boiled down to, is now we're only allowed to use descriptors now. Mm-hmm. He used the word.
I'm going to say other people are, because we're not going to comply to this.
No.
Abracadabra. Just saying it was enough for him to lose his very high-profile job at Netflix, which was apparently well-liked, and it really...
Do you think we're becoming like this because our lives are too easy? That like, if we had to struggle to get food and protect our families, we wouldn't be worried about this word or that word or my feelings.
100%.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I agree totally with that.
You got too much time on your hands.
If you're worried about fucking social media, it's because you're not doing enough.
Yeah, because you're not struggling.
Yeah,
you're not living hand to mouth and worrying about where your next meal is coming from.
Yeah. I'll even go further than that. I'll just say you're not doing enough. If you're worried about anything on social media ever, it means that your life is lacking. It's just lacking. You don't have enough, and I'm not saying necessarily, that you need to be out hunting for food or stuff like that, but I am saying that you're not doing enough with your life. You're wasting fucking time. That's all social media is a waste of fucking time. So if you're wasting that much time that you can be offended by social media, do something. Look, I'm a fucking half a tard, and I've written 5 fucking books. If I can write 5 fucking books, so can anybody else while running other businesses. You can do it too. Fucking write goddamn reviews of the TV shows that you watch or the music you listen to or the fucking whatever, whatever thought you have. Just write it or voice it or make a YouTube video. Y'all got a fucking smartphone. Make a YouTube channel talking about whatever it is that moves you, cooking or fucking carpentry or whatever the fuck it is, wrestling. There's more that you can be doing than being fucking offended by goddamn cocksucking social media.
Nice. All right, here we go.
Yeah, I think we're seeking out altercations when we don't, because I think we're programmed for a certain amount of interaction with people that's unpleasant. We're programmed for a certain amount of competition, whether it's verbal or physical. We're programmed for it. And I think it's what got us to 2018 in terms of the crazy history of the human species as it marched across the world. Just imagine leaving Africa. What do you got? Animal skins on your feet, and you're walking out. What? Yeah. Who the fuck were those people, and what kind of people did they encounter? That's our ancestors. Yeah. Our ancestors have just been dealing with bullshit forever. And when there's no bullshit, like, there's some bullshit over there. There's 78 different gender pronouns, motherfucker. And the reason why you don't think so is because you're a cisgendered, white privileged piece of shit, and all white people are racist. And then you start tweeting up a storm. If you go to those people's pages, one of the things that I'll find a person who says like preposterous shit, and if I'm not blocked by them from some gigantic auto blocker, which sometimes they do, they just block everybody. But if I'm not blocked by them, I will bookmark them. So instead of like following them so they know I'm following them, I would just bookmark them. So I'll just go back. So I have a file on my computer called Crazy Motherfuckers. And I will go to this Crazy Motherfuckers page, and I'll see them go through these manic depressive states and freak out about the world. And then every now and then something will get tossed in there about relationships. Yeah.
Because I know it is harder for someone of color, like black or Arab or Asian,
around some people.
Yeah. But saying white privilege, like there are a lot of white homeless men, and whenever I see a white homeless dude, I always want to give him money and go white privilege.
Dude, there's no doubt there's an advantage in this.
Just give him money, white privilege.
Yeah, Mike Ward's pretty funny.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yep.
Current climate and world to being white. The problem is the white people are not guilty of doing anything just because they're privileged.
Right.
So instead of calling it white privilege, what we need to concentrate on is the people that are racist. That's the only real problem. Yeah. The only problem is racist people. And even though white people get discriminated against less, the problem with saying things like black people can't be racist because racism is a power thing and white people have power over black people. It's a fucking intellectual farce. Yeah. They know it is when they're saying it, and it's just one thing that they just repeat, and you're supposed to accept it. And it's a part of what we were talking about earlier, where there's a game that's going on. And the game is, I want you to say the 78 different gender pronouns. I want you to say that. I want you to do that. I want you to refer to me as that. I want you to refer to me as this. I want you to do what I want you to do. I want you to stop using certain language. I want you to start saying certain things, because that means I win.
Yeah. That's counterproductive, because you're not teaching anyone how stupid it is to just discriminate based on race. All you're doing is blocking out them being honest.
I think that doesn't even work anyway. I think what really works is leading by example. I think that's the only thing that works. What I think...
Yeah, Chris, lead by example, will you?
What, I don't?
Yeah, stop using the N-word, man.
I don't in real life, just on this show.
Well, stop using that. You need to change your pronoun to the word.
No, I'm not doing that. It's funny because I've talked to... Me and my son had this conversation a couple weeks ago, and I never say nigger in real life.
I don't either.
I only say it on this show.
Yeah,
and
because
the reason I do...
It's for emphasis.
Yeah, it's for absolute emphasis and for my 100% demand of myself not to censor myself in this medium. I will not do it. I will not do it. I don't care what it does to my businesses. I don't care if it means nobody buys my books. I don't care if it means nobody listens to this fucking show. I will not fucking censor myself because some other fucking cocksucker deems that I should fucking speak a certain way. You don't like it, don't fucking listen. If you choose to anyway and be offended, that's your fucking problem. I'll never apologize for it, and I'll never stop until I fucking drop dead. And then you can celebrate it when I'm fucking dead and I can't fight back, you fucking pussies.
Yeah, then I'll dance and piss on your grave.
Go ahead, I won't care. I'll be dead.
All right.
I think we learn from people better than us. You see someone who's amazing and she's super smart and she's really kind to people who are, God damn it, I got to be more like her.
Yeah.
And I think we're missing that aspect of it. The chastising. See, this is the problem with what goes on with the left in particular. The brutal, mean assaults on people, these Twitter gangs and Facebook gangs, they target someone and attack them. You are not changing anything. And in fact, you are going to get people who see this horrible shit and they're going to go, fuck those people, I'm going that way. And they go the other way. And you recruit people to be on the right. And this is literally how Donald Trump became president.
Definitely.
One of the major factors was people were noticing a trend, and the trend was towards these crybaby, preposterous liberals that call it everything is racist, everything is sexist, everything is homophobic, everything falls into this.
I've said that 1,000,000 times on this show.
That's what I'm saying. Everything that he was saying sort of follows along with what we
exactly.
Blanket of transgression where there's no innocent and everyone's guilty. And then when they run out of targets, they go after each other for not being progressive enough. They start calling each other out. They find jealousy in the movement.
That's something that really makes me happy, though. When I see the people that have been calling people out for years and then they get called out, I'm like, fucking finally.
Well, I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen with people. I've seen them become. Jamie Kilstein's a friend of mine, and Jamie Kilstein was at one point in his life this really progressive activist guy who was like everything he said had to be like super male feminist and super trans positive, and I mean he was like trying so hard to be accepted, but he's super honest about it too. He's done a podcast about it, and he'd call people out, he'd be really mean and really vicious, and then he realized he was getting all this anxiety from it. He had to check his Twitter all day. He'd like be walking down the street, just couldn't stop like checking his Twitter to see what the replies were, and he was realizing he was caught in this weird fucking hate spiral. Even though he was purporting, he was acting on the premise that he was a good person. He was going to call out all these bad people. But he was like addicted to this weirdness. And then it turned on him. I mean, like some girls accused him of being creepy. And it was like super minor, like trying to go on dates with people. But that was enough that all you need is like one in that world. Everyone is so hyper progressive and looking for any sort of deviation from the pattern they can attack.
Yeah.
And they just decided that this guy, even though he had been like this model ally for male, as a male feminist and for people of color, and he stood for everything that they wanted him to stand for.
But he's a piece of garbage because he told
told
the girl, hey.
Because he's heterosexual.
Yeah.
Yeah, Charlie Brown.
He's right, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's dead on, man.
Well, you said.
Mm-hmm.
Too good. I love it.
Good stuff.
All right, that's Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan Experience. Go check it out. He does a pretty good show for the most part, I would say.
Yeah, most of the time. I mean, sometimes he interviews some people that are just a little too out there for me. I will say this episode with Mike Ward and Pantelis on it is fucking excellent. It's a long one too. It's like 3 hours long.
Nice.
But it's a really, really strong episode. So if you're a Rogan fan at all and you want some guys that are really about free speech, those Pantelis and Mike Ward are definitely your guys.
All right. So there you go. But look at that guy getting fined.
Yeah.
For saying something.
Mm-hmm.
Or just joking about something.
Yeah. Dude, that's one, and I'm not usually one to tell you specifically to listen to a podcast, but listen to that podcast tomorrow if you have time.
All right.
It's about the first hour. The first hour he talks about being fined. And the story is fascinating. You'll be like, what the fuck? I'm never going to Canada.
Well, I mean, I get it. I mean, it's just like, wow, that's pretty ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
What, you said something that was unpopular or objectionable, and now you got to pay $85,000 because somebody didn't like what you said?
Yeah, exactly. It's insanity.
I agree. All right, let's play a couple of tunes. We'll come back. We'll wrap things up and call it a night.
Sounds good to me.
All right, I'm going to play something from Rough Cut from their self-titled release.
All right.
And I'm going to play some, let me see, what should I play here? I think I'm going to play She's Too Hot.
All right.
So here's Paul Shortino and company, exclusively here
on your classic metal show.
Hey, what do you say? It's Paul Shortino from Rough Cut. You're listening to the Classic Metal Show. Keep rocking.